We live in a digital age in society where it's so easy to check on what everyone else is doing in their lives. With Instagram stories, with Snapchat stories, and even with TikTok, it's so easy to see what your friends are doing, what people in your country, in your state, in your city, and people all across the world are doing at the exact same moment. And this is absolutely amazing because it helps us get connected and be able to see the perspective of other people's lives and, therefore have a greater connection with humanity. But there's also a problem. The problem of comparison. Comparison is plaguing the minds of our younger generation. And not just younger generation, in fact, the older generations as well. It seems like everywhere you go, you can't escape the fact that someone else is doing something a little bit better than you. Someone else has the same life that you've always wanted to. Oh, you have a dream to live in an NYC apartment? Well, someone has that, and they probably have a story about it. They probably have content about it. Someone has the dream to have, they have kids and they have the dream job that they want, and they have the amazing spouse that you always wanted, and they're living this amazing life and they're posting things about it. And you're just looking, you're scrolling. It's so easy to scroll, look at stories, look at even YouTube videos, and you see all of this happening in their lives, and you're like, God, why do you allow that to happen to them, but not me? Where is my success story? Where are my blessings? Like Jesus, weren't you supposed to put all this in my life? Like really think about it. Like how often you find yourself being in a state of jealousy, being in a state of comparison of other people's lives. You constantly, even with your own friends, you'll literally see them. I'm currently in college right now. I'm a college freshman, and it's so crazy. Like even like I could sometimes I'll even get FOMO, like which I'm guilty of too. It's like I'll see other people, they're having fun in their parties or doing all these different things, hanging out with all these different friends, at college. And I'm going to community college because I want to save money. And this is a whole another video on the point of why I think that's better than actual a 4-year university for most people. But it's so easy, and just like seeing what they're doing, seeing what's happening with them, seeing all the people they're connecting with, and it's so easy to be like, man, my life sucks. But then you lose that heart of gratitude. You lose that gratefulness that you have for your own life. Like how many things are going amazing. Like me, I can say, oh, well, at least I'm doing well in college. Like I have all A's in all my classes. I'm doing well. I'm saving a lot of money. Actually, I'm saving thousands, like there are tens of thousands of dollars on tuition. I'm advancing further. I'm building out my social media and my brand and my businesses. And it's like things like that. Like it's so easy because when you get caught up comparing yourself to everyone, when you get caught up coveting what other people want, then you lose the spark, you lose every single bit of interest in your own life. We need to stop comparing ourselves to everyone. Comparison is truly the thief of joy. And that's in every single aspect of your life. If you always compare yourself to the next man, if you always compare yourself to your own family, to your friends, you're always going to feel like there's something missing from you. There's something like you're not good enough. You're going to feel like, oh, like my life sucks. And I have this great analogy that I like to think of when I find myself comparing myself to others. If a fish compared its the same abilities as a bird, the fish will always think it's not good enough. The fish will always believe that it's worthless because a bird can fly. A bird has wings and it has feathers and it has a beak and it has feet and it's able to fly in the air and go on these trees and all that. But then that same fish can look and be like, man, my life sucks. Like I can't do any of that. I can't fly. I don't have feathers. I don't have a beak, all these different things. But then that same fish, this fish might have beautiful scales. The fish can swim in beautiful water, go underwater, breathe underwater, and be able to survive and thrive within that environment. But if the fish constantly compares itself to that bird, then it's gonna live a life of hate. It's gonna live a life of just jealousy, living a life of like just it can even cause a point of grief because you feel like nothing that you're doing is right, nothing that you're doing has any meaning or has any value. And the same thing goes for that bird. Like if that bird was like, man, I can't swim like that fish. I don't have skills like that fish. But then you see how both of them are comparing themselves to each other. But they have their own unique abilities. They have their own gifts and talents. They have their own strengths. They have their own weaknesses. They have the things that they're naturally gonna have that the other isn't. And that's the same thing with people. God has literally blessed each and every single one of us with gifts. Every single person has amazing gifts and talents. And you see all the time there are people that are amazing at basketball, people that are great at speaking, people that are great leaders, people that might have a talent for art, for video, for all these different things. And if you constantly compare yourself to other people, if you compare yourself, then you're never gonna think you're good enough. You're always gonna feel like there's something missing from you. Like, why can't you do this better? Why can't I just be like them? Why can't, like, you're gonna just constantly ask that? And so many of us are guilty of this. I'm guilty of this. Like asking, like, why can't I be as good as that person? Like, why do they have all the talents? Why do they have all the skills? But but then you have to also have to realize there's someone else who wants the same skills that you have. So it begins this whole entire toxic cycle of just jealousy and comparison. You really have to break free from that mindset. Break free from, and it will completely change your life. And I'm gonna give you the keys to really break free. One, you have to have a heart of gratitude. Keeping a heart of gratitude, it's so important. It's so important. Gratitude solves so many different problems in your life. And I know it's easier said than done, but even just saying something, just saying, you know what, I'm grateful that I'm alive. I'm grateful that I have a roof over my head. I'm grateful that I have something I can even watch this video on right now. I'm grateful that I have food. I'm grateful that, I have teeth. I'm grateful that, I have eyes that work, or I have hair on my head, or, just being able to have that heart of gratitude completely changes your outlook on life. And it stops you from looking everything outward and look truly inward. And it puts your heart in a posture of gratitude. And gratitude is also another key to how to receive more. You can't be blessed with more if you don't have a heart of gratitude. If you're not already grateful for what you have, you're never going to be able to take advantage fully of what you have. You're not going to use everything at your disposal. And you're just going to live a life of just constantly wanting more. And by the end, when you actually achieve so much, you're still going to feel empty, and you're still going to want more. And you just feel just continually more empty. Number two, you have to identify your own gifts and talents. That is something so crucial. I feel like so many people, they forget to do this. They forget to identify what's so special about them, what's unique about them. It's so easy to, say, oh, that's so unique about them. That's so amazing about them. But what about us? You have to take some time to really look at yourself, look at your life. What are the things you accomplish? What are the things that you have a skill at? What are your skill sets? What are the things that God has blessed you within your life that, just come natural? You can just snap your fingers. Like for me, I can speak, like being able to speak with all these. I haven't scripted any of these videos. Just speaking to people and connecting with others is a gift that I have. Like that's just something I have. Or, video and photography stuff. Those are just gifts I have. I have the eye for that, and I'm able to edit stuff like that. And that's just something, a gift that I have. But not everyone has that. Someone else, they may have the gift of cooking. They can cook something amazing, get all the spices and taste everything, and it's amazing. But you have to take the time. Take the time to identify your gift. And I hate how in society, especially in like the public school system in America, everything, they try and conform you to the same box. You have to break free from society, because they will always try and conform you into the cookie cutter method, which is what I call it. It's just cookie cutter shape of, if you're not good at this, then you suck. Like that's what the lie that like a lot of public school systems, they try and tell you. Like, one thing is my friend, I'm not gonna name it, my friend, and we're just gonna call him Ray. But yeah, he's literally amazing at tech, computers, at coding. He literally coded a whole entire computer. I mean, not computer, a whole entire calculator from scratch. And he knows all this tech stuff. He knows how to jailbreak all this stuff. Nintendo Switches, he does all this stuff. And he actually runs a little business doing all sorts of stuff like that. But he felt like he had such little value because in school, like he doesn't do as well with certain classes. Like one was, I remember, he's chemistry, and I'm so happy I was there to have that class with him. He's a grade below, and I'm so glad that we actually shared that class, because it literally helped him like realize he's like really he's really smart. He's an absolutely intelligent person, but just because that's not his strong suit, the public school system, makes it seem like, oh, you suck, your skills aren't valid. If you're not good at every single thing, then like what skills do you have? But like think about it, like even geniuses like Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein was an amazing mathematician. He was an amazing scientist and such a critical thinker. Like if you would ask who the smartest person is to ever live, maybe not Gen Alpha because they probably don't know about him, but like Gen Z or even generations before, you're like, oh, Albert Einstein, easy. But did you know that Albert Einstein really struggled with reading? He could barely read. His own teacher said he was stupid because he couldn't read, and that was something he struggled with. He struggled with history and reading. Like, come on, like they literally, like, imagine if he listened to them and didn't believe in his gifts and his talents, then he would have went his whole entire life thinking he was stupid. But because of the fact that he recognized his gifts, he recognized his talents, he was able to hone those in and focus on those and truly work on them, get better, grow them, and become the person that he was. Like, think about that. How many people, how many of us, we go our whole entire lives or go whole entire sections of our lives thinking that we're unsuccessful, that we're not worth it, we're not of value, just because of what someone else places on your life, what they think is valuable, what they think is truly, something that's gonna add to this world. But when you already have skills, when God's already blessed you with things, like you already have talents that are already going to add value, that are adding value already, but it just doesn't fit within the societal norm of things or the public school system, which is why I think it's so, not even I think, I know it's so important for you have to take the time to discover your skills, discover your talents, and really work on them and really hone them in and just get better. That way you're truly going to be able to say, you know what, no one can tell me that I'm not worth anything. No one can tell me that my skills are useless because you already know yourself. That's another key. You have to get confidence in yourself. That's the third thing. To stop comparing yourself to everyone else, you truly have to get confidence within your own self. I find that the people that are least confident often compare themselves to everyone else. When you don't have self-confidence, you find that, oh, my body, I wish it was like that. Or, like, oh, I wish I was like that person. I wish I was so funny. I wish I was so bubbly like that other person. But no, you really have to think that you're not like everyone else, and you have to be confident in that. Be confident in being you. Be confident in walking your own skin. And I'm so happy I discovered that, in high school, in my earlier years of high school, and just being like, I don't care. This is me, and if you don't like me, that's fine. But I love me, and that's how it is. And you really have to, the sooner you come to that point in life, the better, because then you can truly begin to operate and not care, not like truly not give a crap about what anyone has to say. Like, it doesn't matter, family, friends, loved ones, strangers, like, because you know your own value, you know what you have to add. You're confident within yourself, within your own abilities, with how you look. And that's something that takes time. And there are definitely ways to increase that by, things like working out or trying to improve yourself, because when you improve yourself, you become a better version of who you already are. So you get more confidence in that. You're like, oh, you know what? I'm who I am, but like I'm a heightened version of, where I was. So you build more confidence. That's why I say like people will be like, oh, working out instantly builds more confidence. Not necessarily. It's not necessarily like the working out and getting the bigger muscles, but the improvement and noticing and seeing that improvement and seeing where you were and then seeing how you are now. Then you're like, oh, look at me. Look how I improved. Look at where I was. And then you build this sort of, this confidence, this boldness. How you have to do things. That's why I say self-improvement is so important. Like, you truly have to strive to be the better person, be the best version of yourself possible every single day, and just constantly chasing that. That's what I just constantly chase, being better, becoming a better version of yourself. And that's how you're going to gain more confidence. That's how I became more confident in myself, to where I just don't care. Like, it other people's opinions, they don't matter like that. Like, I don't care. And that's so important. And that's another key, how you stop comparing yourself to everyone else. And then four, get off of social media. Like, some people, like, you can't be on social media like all the time. Like, you can't be on social, you have to limit the amount of time you're on social media, because you find yourself continuing to compare yourself. One time I went a whole day without even checking Instagram stories and all that, or or Snapchat stories or any of the stories. And I was like, man, I felt really good today, honestly. Like, it was like, I don't even really compare myself to any of my friends or other people, but like, just, we as humans are not, we're not always, we weren't meant for this whole entire thing where, we're constantly checking in on how everyone else's life is, because then you start losing focus on your own life and losing focus on your own goals and your own purpose, and then you lose the blinders. Now it's like this whole entire vision where you see everyone else and you're just running zigzag rather than that straight and narrow path towards your purpose. So I would suggest like Instagram and Snapchat and other places where it's like social media, tone it down a little bit. Maybe get an app. Like, I use an app called Opal, amazing little app to help me restrict my screen time and just really help me not get in that state of comparison and just constantly looking in on other people's lives. You have to take time to focus on your own life. Take time on improving yourself. That is the key to stop in comparison. When you're so focused on your goals, when you're so focused on purpose over pleasure, when you're so focused on your purpose, then everything else fades away. Everything else kind of just becomes a blur. And you just have that straight mindset. You have that straight eye. You're just locked in on what needs to happen. So that's the key. That is the key to stopping the comparison. Comparison truly is the thief of joy. And I want you to break free from that. And if you want to watch the video on how to lock in and truly improve your life and see amazing results, here is this video right here. You can watch it, click it. Absolutely amazing. Lots of people have loved this video and said it's changed their life. And I know it can for you too.